It took me many years to finally tell the fuller version. At 91 years old, I know there is probably not much more time for me to do that, so my resolve was strengthened to get it done. My delay in doing so was not because, like so many Holocaust survivors, I could not bear to revisit the horrible events. On the contrary, I talked often about them with my friends, who also were survivors. I often recounted the story to my family, my children, and especially to my husband, Leon. His story of survival is also remarkable and unique, and he published it as Save My Children, the astonishing tale of survival and its unlikely hero. Amsterdam Publishers, 2020. His ability to complete the difficult task inspired me to follow his example. Had I taken up the pen earlier in my life, it would have been easier for me to complete, but life was too busy, and I could not find the time among my other, perhaps more important, family duties. The most difficult time in my life was during the war, of course. Yet, life after that in America was no bowl of cherries. We worked hard to build a successful business and raise 3 beautiful children, one of whom we lost to cancer. My son David died of brain cancer at an all too young age, and that tragedy has haunted us throughout our lives. I write this book with him in mind. He was also not able to write or tell his story, although, had he survived, I know it would have been a bright one. Just before the war, the last holiday. August 1939. The hot summer day was coming to a close. Sadness was starting to overtake me as I knew our holiday had reached its last day. I sat outside our hotel room and thought about the gorgeous mountains all around me and what a fabulous time the past few weeks had been with my mother and my grandmother. Even though I wished we could stay longer, I was missing my father, and knowing we would see him again soon cheered me a bit. The resort towns of the Caucasus Mountains were a favorite of Europeans from everywhere. The beautiful countryside, cascading rivers, sparkling lakes, and hiking trails that covered the landscape were a wonderful escape from the demands and pressures of the bustling cities of Poland, Austria, Ukraine, and Czechoslovakia. Perhaps it was the plentiful hot springs that inspired millions of Eastern Europeans to make the area their holiday destination every year. The region was noted for its many luxurious and not-so-luxurious spas, featuring these healing waters. My family was among those tourists every year. We stayed at some lovely places, but they were more of the not-so-luxurious resorts that we could afford. As a young preteen girl, I did not know the difference. We could have slept in tents, and I would have loved the experience just the same. The excitement that welled up inside me as August approached could not be contained, and when the time would come to board the train for the long journey southward, it was like releasing the lid on a pressure cooker. Finally, we were off to paradise. We typically would spend several weeks at the resort. We had all kinds of exciting and relaxing activities in which to participate: hiking the steep slopes, swimming in the lakes and rivers, and sometimes just sitting around doing nothing. I loved to read, so the latter was not at all boring to me. I loved reading so much that often my only birthday and Hanukkah presents were books. There was nothing that I could receive that would have made me happier. On that late August day in 1939, we were finishing up the packing for our train trip home. As we closed the last bags, I heard